Hey there, VJ warriors of the world. Today we are talking about some of the basic controls: bypass, solo and eject. A quick note before we get started. Everything I say about layers also applies to groups, but I figured if you are using groups in your projects, you probably don't need this tutorial. Anyhow, let's get going, starting with bypass. Layers can be bypassed by hitting the big B button over here. This is a quick and easy way to turn a layer off, without meddling with layer opacity. When we look at the layer transport controls over here, we can see that the clips are still running in the background. Bypass does not affect opacity, playback or transition time. Now let's look at a use case for the layer bypass button. Let's assume that I'm doing visuals for a small talent show. In between the performances we want a next up section. I'm using a text block source to do this, which I have placed on my top layer. Once the act starts playing, I can simply bypass the layer. A large benefit of this approach is that I can trigger columns without needing to worry about showing the next up section. This keeps my deck small and organized. To make this workflow even more efficient, I can set up a keyboard shortcut to the bypass button. There is a good reason for using a keyboard shortcut over a MIDI shortcut in this case. I have big monkey hands and I don't want to accidentally turn the layer off while jamming on my controller. You might have noticed that besides bypassing layers and groups, you can also bypass the entire composition. Bypassing the entire composition is something I found useful in a couple of situations. You can map it as a panic button. When everything goes down the drain, just bypass everything. I've also used it a lot in situations where I would VJ for a live band and where we didn't want any visuals between the songs. Let's have a look at the solo button, which is the big S button over here. This button will single out a layer, meaning you can only see the soloed layer. In Resolume there can be only a single solo layer. I found this to be mostly useful when preparing your show and you want to work on a single layer, or while working in the advanced screen setup. The final button we're looking at is the Eject button. Hitting this on a layer, group or composition will eject all clips in that part. Ejecting a clip will stop the playback, but not affect your preview. Composition eject can be a handy function to map to your keyboard as sort of an ultimate panic button. And with that final doom and gloom tip, we'll end this tutorial. Drop your questions in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one.